Headgame has some good moments, but in general, the narrative is very weak, the characters are very boring, and the whole camera on the forehead aspect was really underdeveloped. This was released in 2018. It's directed by Stephan Judd. It's written by Roberto Marinas, and we have a cast including Sidney Allison, Sammy Anthony, Bowen, Marion Brooks, and various others. The performances are fine. Absolutely no problems with the performances. The characters are very boring, but the performances are okay. And the characters wake up in a warehouse and they don't know why they're there, and they have cameras screwed into their foreheads. As a concept, I don't hate it. I really don't. I'm quite a fan of films that are quite like Saw, where characters wake up somewhere and they find that they're having to play this game and do certain actions, otherwise they're going to die. And this is, of course, what the film is about. But the whole cameras on the forehead thing felt so pointless. They really underused that, and it was just really, really boring. They serve a purpose for the characters, because if they try and remove them, something will happen. I won't say what will happen, but we do get a demonstration of what will happen, and I will say it's fantastic. Visually horrendous, and I absolutely loved it. But other than that, what's the point? Didn't really serve any real purpose, and it just looks really cheap. So it was just really underdeveloped. It could work, but it didn't. And then throughout the film, they have to do various activities, and it's kind of boring. The only good thing about this, we have some average things like the performances, absolutely fine. The camera work, absolutely fine. The lighting was quite good. We have some green light at one point, which I thought was really satisfying. But the only thing it actually does really well is the gore. When it happens, when things look gory, it's very, very effective. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily few and far between. We do get a decent amount of gore, so that kept me watching it. But everything else was either very weak or just pointless. The characters, I could not care less about them. And in general, it's not a very well-written film. But visually, yeah, quite satisfying. The camera work is good. Not the cameras from the forehead, but the general camera work is very good. The lighting is good. The gore is brilliant. The performances are fine, but the characters are boring. So, in general, it's a mediocre film at best. But if you're keen to get into this kind of film, there are plenty of films out there with a similar premise, and that's not a problem. I think they do generally work really well, and I'll happily watch all of them if I can. So if you're trying to get into this kind of film, but you're not sure how well you will handle that level of gore, then yes, the gore is intense, but because the story itself is not that intricate, you don't have to focus too much on the narrative, and you can just focus on seeing whether you can get through the gore and whether you're able to cope with it, because not everybody can. I know not everybody is a fan of this kind of film, and if this is kind of the situation you're in, then maybe it's worth watching, and if you can get through this, then it might be time to progress to something that's maybe a little more intense. It could also be a good one to put on if you just want something on in the background while you're doing other things that's kind of gory but doesn't really require that much concentration. Certainly it could fit that. So I might recommend it. Depending on what you're looking for, it might be worth putting on. But if you're looking for a strong sit-down film with an intense narrative and a really thrilling experience, then Headgame isn't really going to provide that. But if you're looking for something that's maybe a bit more casual with some gory moments, but everything else is just, it's okay, then maybe it's okay to put on for that. Headgame needs a lot of work to be an interesting story. They really needed to do more with the cameras in the forehead, or just get rid of that as a concept and just stick the cameras elsewhere in the room, and maybe give them some other kind of trap or device that would harm them if they tried to take it off. It's not horrendous. It is watchable, but it needs a lot of work. Do I recommend it? Sure, if it sounds like something that's what you're looking for at this moment. It's not perfect. I wouldn't watch it again, but I guess as a one-time watch, mostly because of the gore, visually it was a treat. So there are some benefits. Headgame was not the strongest, but it was okay.